Well, greetings everyone. I'm Justin Mitchell of House Woodward and I'll be your host today. So I'm doing this video because I've got a few emails from individuals who've watched my videos, asking for advice, and it made me realize I got a responsibility to do. It just made me realize a bunch of the stuff that I'm going to share with you in this video. So I appreciate you guys, reaching out and saying, giving me value, so that I can give you value. You help me help you, help me help you situation where it's all together. And I'm going to explain a lot of that today. So the emails have been mostly concerned with secured party creditor, sovereign, being free as we are. I'm a non-combatant sojourner. That's what I am. I'm just a traveler. I'm not a resident of anything. That means a resident, when you break it down, is a thing domiciled, in a warehouse. Chattel paper. Words are important. It's really exciting to talk about this stuff. Let me get my notes, because I got associative memory, so when I start talking or thinking about something, it'll reflect on another situation that got me there, and then something in there, and then I get off on a track, the white rabbit chasing the hole. Oh yeah, this is for educational purposes only. I'm not trained in legalese. I am not a lawyer. I do not have a bar card. I don't go to the barrister. I haven't taken an oath to the United States. I'm Justin Mitchell, sojourner, free will, travel, so it's without prejudice, educational information only. And if you couldn't tell already, it's all about how you carry yourself. It's what you think constantly. It's like your mindset, You got to understand. Yeah, let me start from the beginning. This information is very delicate because just like anything else, it can be used for one purpose or it can be used for another. It's just a tool. So a hammer can be used to build a house, or it can be used to do some damage, right? So that's what you got to keep in mind. I quit a long time ago trying to explain stuff about this and help people out in it, because they would use it and say, oh, I'm pretty much above the law, or they could do whatever they wanted, jeopardizing other people's lives, their freedom, their sense of reality. So they're coming from a lack of emotional intelligence, where they don't understand the individuals around them. They're not paying attention of their surroundings. They're all me, I, ego-centered, focused. And that's not what this is about. You'll never get anywhere doing that anyways. You'll keep thinking you're making progress, and then boom, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. The mindset to come from is that you have a duty and a responsibility as a vicegerent of the earth, or a vicegerent. I don't know how you pronounce that word. I've heard it several different times. And yeah, you have a duty and a responsibility to do certain things in a certain way, right? With complete integrity, with complete diligence. And I've slacked myself. I'm just like anybody else, I'm not special. I'm not saying I'm a guru or an expert, but all this is from my own experience and me actually learning it, reading about it, putting it into practice, and actually going through the motions physically in this reality. And so it's all about vibrations. We all know, well, maybe we all don't know, but if you don't know, now you know, right? That our mind dictates our whole reality. What you think about, how you feel, all that is perceptive out. Or it's on the other aspect. Everything out here is able to influence and control in here, right? So there's two sides to every coin, and then there's a middle way. There's always a third option. 3, right? That's a magic number. So right now, talked about a little bit about mindset. You got to take 100% ownership. And that may be hard for a lot of people, but I will remind you, Benjamin Franklin said, those who choose comfort over freedom deserve neither and will eventually lose both. Keep that in mind, right? Because it's all about our founding fathers. The mindset of the individuals who created this whole America, lowercase United States America, was about being independent, was about taking responsibility, was about 100% diligence, was about ownership. You know what I mean? Because they had a duty and a responsibility to maintain a certain environment for the people that they were in charge of. Or not that they were in charge of, because all this was chosen by the people, right? So the people put them in power, which doesn't really happen anymore. Like we have an assumed people putting into power idea, but I mean, we're all, if you're watching this, you already know what the game is, right? So we don't even gotta, go there. So you gotta take 100% responsibility. You also gotta come from do unto others, like the golden rule. Yeah, we'll just put golden rule. But if you want to be treated a certain way, you gotta treat other people that way. And you also gotta take into consideration that not everybody is gonna be like you and have your mindset. So, the David and Goliath story, you also don't push bounds, but you don't get pushed, right? Always in the middle, but able to take corrective action when needed, right? I mean, we just gotta get there. See why it's difficult to talk about a lot of this stuff, because a lot of people I've dealt with, their first instinct is to get aggressive, get violent, because they don't know how to properly communicate themselves. And that's just because they were not educated properly. So once again, 100% ownership. People want to bitch about society and everything going on, but hey, guess what? What you doing every day to change it? Stop bitching about it and work towards changing it. And you can only do that one mind at a time. One mind at a time. Okay, let me get back on this. I just feel like the mindset of this whole, what I'm about to share with you, has to be established. Like if you're selling crack, if you're selling smack, if you're out here destroying your community by the actions that you're taking just to get $1, this ain't for you. And get the fuck off my channel, straight up. Because I ain't even got nothing for you. Like, none of this will work for you. Like, yeah, it'll work to the attraction, but you attract what you are. So once again, if you're operating in a lower hemisphere or a lower vibration, this ain't for you. This ain't even gonna make sense to you. Those are gonna be the individuals that throw shame and hate on this, because they've already chosen comfort over freedom, right? And you also got to go into it, you are non-combative. Not militant mindset, not motherfucking, oh, well, I just did it. Nah, fuck that shit. So yeah, you always want to be a non-combatant sojourner. And once you have that and you're taking complete ownership and responsibility of your life, now you have the proper and the correct mindset, right? It's all about the mindset. Because if you don't have that, you're still going to relinquish your authority to other people. You're still going to bow down on your own free will. Now, taking into consideration that you are operating with an integrity, you are operating in honor, you are meeting your obligations, you are taking 100% ownership of your life. Because every action you do has a cause out here. Or that's the cause, and then there's an effect, right? This is all physics, this is alchemy, this is the magic of the world. And as soon as anybody quits thinking about it or forgets about all this stuff, the world is going to be, all robots, and, there ain't no living in that. Ain't no living right there. And we see it all in the movies. So the best thing to prepare for that kind of future is to raise our children, raise our communities, and just be like, yo, this is what it is. All right, non-combatant. Now we're gonna get into need a towel. We're gonna get into what it is to be a sovereign, and we'll probably go into nobility and all this. Let's do some history first, right? So everybody thinks Abraham Lincoln, oh Abe, set slaves free, right? And this is going to be mind-blowing to any people who are not aware of this, right? Set slaves free. Now the reason that he did the Emancipation Proclamation was because the South was kicking his ass. Kicking his ass. Russia agreed to support him if slavery was abolished. Right? So Abraham Lincoln said, hey, not only will I pay you and you'll have your freedom and all these great perks, we're also going to win the war. Or, you know, you get money and all this, you get your freedom. So he did that, right? He said, he guised it underneath, slavery is abolished. And it did. It did abolish it. Now, mind you, we used to be a republic. America was formed as a republic for the people, by the people. Until, you know, right around Abraham Lincoln's day, because the South walked out on the North, because the South was tired of paying notes to England, because they had a 20-year agreement where they would take a loan out and they have to repay it back. And the South said, nah, why are we doing that? We got all the money coming in. And, you know, yeah, they did. And I don't know the conditions of lives back then. I'm not here to judge that. This is just the law of the history of what happened. So the South said no, the North was still going on. So since then we haven't constitutionally convened. Or congressionally, yeah. Congress, all that stuff. So we're operating in a de facto government, which allowed this shadow government to come in and be the United States which is admiralty law, or maritime law, or law merchant. But actually, I just was watching this video by this other brother. He's got a lot of good stuff. And he was talking about how the law merchant way back in I think it was 1160 or 1600, a long time ago, where it was the first time in human history that where the individual who was owed a debt, the creditor to the debtor, right, was able to seize that body and imprison that guy and take all of his land. And that was one of the things. Okay, so this is what we started moving towards. And then Abraham Lincoln put out real money. He issued lawful currency. Right? What happened to Abraham Lincoln? We all know that story. And then Andrew Jackson came and tried killing him twice because he was about it. And then the last president to ever put out real currency was JFK. You know what happened to him. Okay? So we went from common law and started, which is a republic, to admiralty law, which is also called law of flag. That's your flag fly, right? Pirates operated under no flag. Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean. East Indian Trading Company really did that, and they wiped out a whole bunch of sojourning people, right? Whew. Somebody would have been able to lead them, right? We might be living in a different timeline. But, no, they had like a black flag. So that law of flag, when you go into the courtroom, it's got an admiralty flag in it. You know, it's got gold fringe around it. That's a wartime flag. The original flag of America, it's mentioned in the Scarlet Letter, right? And it's talking about in one of the beginning pages where this, I don't know her name, forgive me, she's making the flag, and it goes into how the stripes are going up and down instead of horizontal. They're going lateral instead of horizontal, right? Because that means a peacetime flag. Should have got some water. So the pirates had no flag. When you go into the courtroom, you're entering a vessel or a ship. So the captain of that ship is the one seated and sitting behind, the what's that thing called? The bar, the barrister. And if you notice how when you go into fancy courtrooms, it's got the barrister, which it's identical to a ship. And the layout of it is the ship, the first mate. There's an accounts officer. There's all these individuals up here operating as a corporation together to create one whole. And that's what it is. So on corporations, Erie versus Indiana has been when I first started learning about the law, I think, or Pennsylvania. It might be Erie versus Thompson. I believe it's Erie versus Thompson. I would Google it real quick, but my phone is being used to record this, so it might. Yeah, I think it is Erie versus Thompson, where it was like one of the landmark cases that actually said corporations have the power, and it's no longer the power of the people, right? Admiralty law. We went into corporate law. We went into commercial law. Everything is civil. There is no criminal. Now, if you kill somebody, you harm people, you're going out of your way to, like, interfere with other people's realities in a negative way just to satisfy your, carnal needs or whatever's going on inside of you, that's got to be corrected somehow. So I'm not advocating for anybody to do this. That's why it's very hard to, explain this kind of stuff to individuals, because not everybody's there. And I can't give you all the answers. These answers will come to you as they're called ayats, the signs. You have truths in here, and then outside it's reflected. And, you vibrate towards that. And that can go for the bad stuff. That goes for the good as well as the bad. It's all equal. He who judge, be judged. Alright. I'm going to share with you the story about how I actually found out about all this stuff. Because my whole life I've been searching for that true freedom. I remember when I was 9 years old, I was like, man, I might have been 7 or 6. I'm not sure on the time because time's irrelevant. But I do know exactly where I was. I was right next to my house. There was our trees, like the middle way that was put up between our house. I don't know, can't even think of the word. But I was walking with this kid. He had a speech impediment and he was deaf. And me and him hung out a lot. I could tell that he was angry. He was upset about things. So that told me people were probably picking on him at school, which I hated bullies. But I wouldn't just harm them in any way. I would try and communicate with them to understand hey, look, man, I understand you're hurting, but hurting other people ain't gonna help you, right? So at that time I was walking with my friend. And it hit me. No more bills. We all operated in a good way. You do this for me. How naive I was as a kid. But when we're kids, we think of utopia and we think of the world as being the best place because we're coming from the outer realms into the physical reality of the third dimension, right? So we know about all that love and that aspect. That's what we're used to. And then we come here to go through it and kind of feel that separation and that suffering. So I had this grand idea. If we could create the money system, if I just had the money. There's an old rabbi saying, I don't care who makes the laws, as long as we make the money. Right? Alright. So, I'm sitting there thinking that, and I'm like, oh yeah, it would be great. Because then my dad wouldn't have to work. Not everybody would be struggling. We wouldn't create such a disparity in our society. And of course, I wasn't using words like that. The idea is there. And that's been with me, and then I didn't find out about all, the banking system, how fiat currency is made, the law stuff, trusts. I didn't learn about any of that until I went to prison, right? I was 18, I was out there acting a fool, breaking into people's houses because I was bored and I liked the adrenaline rush, and then as soon as I started feeling bad about what I was doing, as soon as I was I wasn't even Muslim at the time, and I got on my hands and knees and I was crying, I could feel it. And I was like, I just want to quit. And I know I don't have that control over myself or that discipline. I just want to quit. And I didn't ask to go to prison, right? But then on a Thursday, my dude Josh, rest in peace, he put this in some paperwork and all that, but it's neither here nor there. But I was telling him yo, man, Thursday's a bad day. I could feel it. I was outside of my body, third person, looking at myself, just going through the motions. And I was like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? Boom, next thing you know, I'm fucking running, get in my house, crawl up to bed, and then cops come. That's a whole different story. But I went to prison. I was in there for 3 years, hooked up with this dude named Rock. Not hooked up with him, but his name was Rocky. I had gone to a different prison. I got transferred, put in administrative seg, and I wasn't a bad person. I was all over the prison and networking, a lot of my homies were in there and shit, so we'd be chopping it up. And then this big ass beef between Hallville and Fort Wayne started breaking out. And it was like a bad news bears because 6 of them tried running up on me, and that didn't work out too well for them, right? Next thing I know, my old school homie's coming up to me with like a book and shit, and he's like, yo, man, you gonna need this. What do you mean I'm gonna need this? I'm good, bro. I got like 15 Bibles, and like, you know, I'm connected. I'm protected. Not like like the gang stuff or anything like that, but an understanding like, if I ain't operating in the negative, ain't no harm gonna come to me, because Allah, God, Yahweh, the universe has an obligation to make sure that I'm good because I'm performing good. Like, that's my mindset. That's what I got, you know, contracts in place. He's like, all right, cool. Well, I got transferred shortly after that, went to this other prison, CIC. It was cool. I could paint and draw and shit. And I ended up in this bunk, and my bunkie was like, yo, man, do you know Rocky Shore? He's from Fort Wayne, too. And I'm like, nah, I never heard of him. Well, a week later, because of all my write-ups, they followed me for being out of place and not going to work on time or something. I didn't have a job but once in there, and it was nighttime in the kitchen where, like, we had pretty much free reign, and I could clean. I get in the zone when I'm cleaning. Like, that's how I get in the stand. That's why I detail cars on the side. But I get up in his cell, and I'm in his bunk. And then a week later, I get transferred to administrative sec. Well, Rocky's down there, and he's like, man, you're Woodward, you're from Fort Wayne? He's like, who's your parents? Oh, Angie and Lyndon. He's like, no shit. I used to date your mom before your mom and dad got together. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I've lived on Sutton my whole life. And my whole family is like, lived on Sutton at one time in Fort Wayne. So I was like, oh, I bet his mama still live there. So me and him, we ended up bunking up together. I've been into the law. He started like showing me how to like put lawsuits together, grievances, how to file tort claims, you know, and we were motherfucking hitting that prison. And we were giving it to them because they had these windows, right? They had no springs and balances in them. So when you put, and they got them in an awkward position behind it, so you can't really get it. They're heavy as shit, they're double paying and all that. So people were losing digits. We put in the lawsuit that it was the digit guillotine. Like it was just, yeah. Something happened on that when I went to court after all that. But let me finish the story. So me and Rocky are doing our thing. Next thing you know, we've been in the same cell, you know, busting out lawsuits, putting them, like seriously, man, it was crazy. It was so crazy that the lieutenant sent this motherfucker named, we call him Predator, because he had the dreads like the Predator, and he was like, his tactic used to be at Pendleton behind the wall. He'd hide underneath the motherfucker's bunk, and when that cell rolled, you know, you like to cell with this dude, and he's big, and he only got one thing on his mind. That's right. So that dude started coming at me. I had to give it to him once in the shower. Bang! But we're not even going to get into that. I'm getting off the topic again. Then they put Rock behind the glass, which was like a separate part. They moved me to a different cell, put this other cat in there from Hallville who had beef with me. So when I got transferred, all these motherfuckers up there in Hallville, I'm by myself. I really ain't got no Fort Wayne cats. So they're all like asking me questions about cats. I learned a long time ago, man, somebody starts asking you what your name is. And like, if you know so-and-so, you just be like, what? And then be on guard because they're going to try and sneak you. You know, you always got to be prepared. Especially when people are operating with ignorance. Like, it is insane. To administer advice or argue with a person who has given away advice and chosen ignorance, it's a waste of time. You're like beating a dead horse, right? Thomas Paine. But, so after a little bit, they're going to transfer me behind the wall. Well, Rocky, they came and got him like, boom, you're going over to Pendleton. And I was like, all right, cool, bro, bet. I'll be over there in about 30 days. And I knew it, too, when I was getting transferred from Branchville. I went out and got a loan from the bank. He was another Hallville cat. I got like 100 bones. I had no intention, so maybe that's why it followed me. And, you know, I wasn't operating in honor and integrity, too, so that got me. I mean, I never got beat up, but it had this thing hanging over me that I created it, so I had to deal with it. You know, 100% responsibility, no victim shit. And Rock gets over there. I go behind. I'm with that Hallville cat, right? And I just can't do it no more. So I'm like, yo, I gotta check in. I gotta go behind the glass. Now, mind you, I'm breaking paradigms because only snitches and bitches go behind the glass and go on the PC and all that other shit. Nah, fuck that, bro. This is my time. This is my life. This is how I live. And I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. I came in here alone, I'm going alone. And you ain't here to feed me, you ain't here to support me, you ain't here to build me up, so why do I care about what you think or how you do things? I don't. Your whole mentality blows my, like, I can't even operate in that realm. Like, fuck that shit. That's down here thinking. We don't do that. We do up here thinking, right? So, go behind the glass, get out, do some legal work for this one cat, and then a couple days later, bang, bang, Woodward, pack up your stuff. You're getting transferred. Bet, homie. So I pack up my shit. Well, the guy that I did some work for who actually owed me money, he was going too. Well, we get over to Pendleton. They took all my art stuff. They took all my clothes. They took my boot. Took my TV. They took my headphones. They took my radio. They took everything from me and put me in a cell by myself, which is cool. I liked it. And then everybody else that I came with, they all got their property. You know, this is retaliatory treatment. They got all their property, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. You got me in some Jackie Chans. I'm wearing these tight-ass motherfucking spandex. I see what y'all trying to do. And then this big bull came up and said, oh, Sue, why you smiling all the time? Yeah, bro, because I'm excited to get out here and see what this place is about. I don't get nervous. I get excited. Oh, you got to keep that mentality low, bro. There's some real killers in here. And, you know, being who I am, I'm not a killer. You know, that whole I ain't a killer, but don't push me thing. I literally told this dude, now mind you, this dude is serious. I got to know him once I was in the prison. He was a serious motherfucker. And I said, man, just because I ain't in here for murder don't mean I ain't a killer. Better yet, when these cells pop, if you really want to get it, all you got to do is come up in here. But other than that, man, I ain't got no quarrels and I ain't got no beef, right? Stood my ground, let him know, like, hey, man, it is what it is. I understand if you want to get something, it's a free will universe. I just got to make sure my will's better, right? So that gave me a little confidence. And that other homie that owed me money was down the way. I'm like, yo, I see you got all your shit, and you like, you know, I'm down here with nothing. You seen that? I did that legal work. Oh, well, it got me sent behind the wall. Nah, bro, you stabbing somebody 40 times got you sent behind the wall. I did the paperwork as best I could. You still gotta pay me. Like, I can't. You did the action. Take responsibility for it. You got an agreement with me. You gotta pay me. Okay? And he starts saying like, oh, I ain't really got it. Da-da-da. I said, look, man. How about you throw down what you got right now and what you ain't got you can keep? And he's like, wow, what you mean? I said, like I said, I hate repeating myself, but how about you just throw down what you got right now to cover it, and what you ain't got you can keep. And then he started yip-yapping, thinking like he was going to intimidate me or something. I said, that's cool, man. These cells roll at 6:30 in the morning. We're going to go get chow. I see. And then he kept running, you know, he kept talking and kept talking and kept talking and kept talking. And then all of a sudden, all this shit's dropping outside of my cell. You know, I'm not reaching my hands out when I'm, you know, fishing what I got, bringing it on in. So that was cool. That cat actually ended up getting stabbed like a couple times and getting maced. It was crazy. Like real crazy. 3 weeks or 4 weeks right after that. And, you know, then I get into my cell. I'm only in that, my brain is shutting down. I need some water. What is that? I-dorm? Intro dorm? Introduction? I can see it's like not even in my realm anymore. But it's like the orientation dorm. There's a word for it though. I know. Something. I don't even remember anymore. I've been out of prison for going on 10 years now. So that ain't even in my reality. Another thing, mindset, right? Now I'm giving you all this stuff. I know I'm taking a while. Just to give you an example of like, this is the best I got for advice when it comes to this because it's 100% mind. This is all the dunya. This is all a hologram and it can be controlled right here or it can be controlled inside from the out. Right? Take that into consideration. You got to take ownership. You got to remember that you are powerful. But you also got to operate with, you know, correctly. So, I get up in my block, which is H block. I was in H22. this dude named Gregory Bay was right next door, and he was cool as a cat. He was from Fort Wayne, and he was up in there. They did him dirty. Somebody got murdered. They pinned it on him. You know, I did a lot of legal work for a lot of individuals. I could say, like, yo, bro, evidence is here. And then in some cases I read, and I'm like, dude, they really did get you because you was just black in the wrong spot. That's fucked up, man. And he was in there for, you know, since before I was born at the time. So, like, he's been in there since 1983. That's injustice like a motherfucker. I mean, the dude that they said was 300 pounds, this cat ain't ever been over 150. Right? Like, I can't even believe it. But when I first got in there, he had a conversation with me. You know, he's intelligent. He cares for people. He understands all these laws. And me and him had some good dialect, and he asked me a couple questions. He's like, yeah, you'll be all right. So that told me, like, I got a cool-ass neighbor. You know, and then the Aryans kept on, like, trying to come over, and then the Aryan got next to me. I don't fuck with the Aryans. I never have. I used to bang with them. Like, y'all can get it any day. Because I just don't get down with their whole model or their philosophy. And mind you, they want to say that they're all about white power, but the only people that they preying on are white young individuals that they can, like, you know, because they want to be all about this hate and racism bullshit, but then they don't want to, and I'm not supporting that, you know, so I just don't even get down with them because it's wrong anyway. They're bullshit. People like that. We're living in 2019 now. Everybody should be aware of, like, we're all connected. We all got the same blood. Like, man, it's crazy. All right, back to this. So me and him got to chit-chatting. And then I go to chow. Oh, guess what up? Rock's in over there. So the whole time that we're in separate cell houses, I'm going back and forth, chatting it up, doing legal lawsuits, everything. And I'm going home on house arrest. And right before I go, and at this time too, because I didn't have a TV or anything, I was in my cell meditating. I had a profound experience. Like, everything is vibration. I was just sitting there and I was like, oh wow. Almost like I could see it, right? And that's when I was like, this is a receptor, or a receiver and a transmitter. It can either be influenced or you can influence outside of you. There is no competition, there's only creation. And right before I left, I gave Rock my TV, because I got a TV by this time. I couldn't do it no more. And he loaned it out to this other cat who was from Indianapolis, and he was from Harville and all that. And he wouldn't come off the money or the TV to Rock. So I went out in the yard. I said, look, bro, you're going to have to give me that TV one way or another. He said, oh, what you want to do about it? You want to do it right here in the yard? I said, man, that's so crazy that you would even talk about doing it right here in the yard. That tells me where you are, because there's so many people around. There's all these eyes. Like, why you want to do that? We can just go in the bathroom and bang it out. Now, mind you, I'm not the tallest dude. I ain't the biggest, strongest motherfucker either. But when it comes to throwing the mitts, I throw it down with somebody when they trying to overstep me. Like, I'm not here to do any harm, but hey, I sure as hell ain't gonna let no harm go on around me. Period. You know? But needless to say, dude didn't come off the TV, so right before I left, I had the guards, like, I was connected with everybody, so it didn't even fucking matter. And I'm going home, so I don't even give a fuck anyways. That ain't my life. And because of that mentality, that's why, you know, just don't make sense to me. So I got my TV back, but right before I left, Rock said, hey man, I need you to check out this thing called Laws Dictionary, and like this Black's Laws movement, it's all about freedom and shit. And I'm like, alright, bet, bro. Well, I got out hooked up with this other guy, and he had been in prison. He was a little funny though. I come to find out some other things about him that, you know, I don't participate in. And he turned me on some information, and he's like, yeah, I've been looking for it more. Well, something was feeling off. I felt like I just didn't have no motivation to be out. They were trying to make me do the program, and I wasn't really taking up responsibility because I didn't want to be on probation. I didn't want to drop 3 times a week because I wasn't even in prison on a drug charge. I didn't want to pay them, you know, $140 a week to go to these classes that I already did in prison. I didn't want to pay them $340 a week on house arrest. I didn't want to have to keep a 40-hour work week and do 20 hours of community service throughout the week, like without a car, and my house is, you know, outside of the city, so it just like, it wasn't cool. And I was supposed to go drop. I said, no, I ain't dropping. Well, when they came, I went to my probation meeting just to, show face. She tried having me arrested, well, she did. And the cop, he ran, and I said, man, that's an inactive warrant. You better make sure that you can do that. Mindset, letting him know, like, yo, dude, I know. You ain't gonna just treat me and talk to me any which way you want. People let you treat them how you let them. Or people treat you the way you let them. Thanks, Jordan Zalman. But, so I ended up going back. I relinquished. I actually walked into the courtroom and was like, yeah, I want to go back to prison. Oh, well, don't you got people that really care about you, want to see you succeed. And I said, no, they don't. I was like, you guys haven't even taken into consideration the stuff that I learned in prison, the stuff that I've already accomplished in prison, all this other stuff, and I'm not out here doing anything bad. I like smoking weed. I got anxiety. I used to be on Prozac, Adderall, fucking Ritalin. I was one of the first guinea pigs on Adderall. They were giving me 35 milligrams 3 times a day at the age of 6 years old. That's crazy. That's meth. So yeah, my life was a little fucked up. Whatever. So I smoked weed. Cool, I went back to prison, got to Miami. I'm in Miami. It's like the first couple of days I was in there. I'm used to being at a prison where, you go in the chow and you just sit down and you eat. You eat wherever you want. You sit with whoever you want. You do all that. And this guard's like, yo, you're going to sit over here. Nah, I don't even know them people. I'm going to sit where I want. Oh, no, that ain't how it works. And then he kept, doing this thing, trying to get in my way. So I took my glass and I put it on his boot and was like, man, I spilled my water. Think you can get me another one? And he just couldn't believe it. And I was like, that's cool, I'll get it. Got me some water. Now I went and sat down in my seat. Next thing I know, they're all like, mind you, mindset. And another little tidbit. By you controlling your own body, you can control everybody else around you, because as soon as you start getting aggressive and your cortisol level starts pumping up, and because it's being attacked on you, now their levels are attacking, right? So it's building and building. Whereas if you just breathe, shoot them some love, it's cool. They had me walking down there with my pants trying to humiliate me, so when I got in there, all these cats in the say, oh, that made you look like a little bitch. And my only response was like, well, obviously they all made you look like little bitches because you in the box. So, whatever, cool. Then they kept me in I was only supposed to be there in a week. Then they kept me in there 2 months and 13 days after. So every day when they're after I went to CAB, every day they're talking about, oh, this guy's getting out. All these other motherfuckers are getting released and shit. I'm like, yo, I'm supposed to get out of here. They looked on their paperwork and they said, yeah, Woodward's supposed to be there until October of 2014. October of 2014. This is June or July of 2009. And I'm like, what? Nah, bro. Hold on. Here's my CAB. This is what it says. I was supposed to be released, May 21st. I was supposed to be out of here a long time ago, bro. What's going on? So then what they did, they put me in the homosexual prison, or the homosexual dorm, or whatever, the child molesting, the rapers, all these sexually charged people in the same dorm. I had this crazy ass roommate who was just real aggressive. You could tell he'd done something real bad. He'd been in there since 1982. He was getting ready to go home, but he watched America's Funniest Home Videos, and that's like a telltale sign when you're in prison, motherfucker, watching America's Funniest Home Videos. You ain't just watching that. We don't even got time for that. You got other things going on in your brain. So, we don't even do that. So then, I had this other, actually I was sitting there thinking, this is another mindset. Trying to demonstrate too how your mind controls a lot of things. I was like, man, it'd be perfect to get somebody that was near me, in my city, who knows some of the same people, who is around the same age, somebody that I could help, and they could help me. We could, I just had this good thing in my head going on. I wanted a better roommate. This is where I'm living, man. I can't do it where I'm fucking man, I'm gonna have to kill this dude someday. Not I'm gonna kill him, but it could get to the point where something just happens and it sets off a whole thing of fireworks. I'm trying to do the best I can, but when somebody ain't working with you, we've all been in those situations. You just, whew. So I got this dude named Mike Fine. He was a cool cat. We were into the yoga. breathing, law, and then this other cat came down from Michigan City. He told me about this birth certificate and this hidden bank account is attached to your Social Security card. You know, you start, it's $100 million, and then you can get free. Well, he had all these concepts about the white card. It takes 30 days for them to close out your accounts. You got to do a UCC1 lien. Take it and send it over to Morocco. Get it apostolized and sent back and recognized as your birth certificate and all that. And then you take your other birth certificate and you do a discharge document and set it up with the Secretary of Treasury. And then what they do, they'll send you back the return receipt, right? That return receipt will have your account number on it. I didn't know this at the time when I got mine back. So please, if you get that back, hold on to it. Hold on to it. Because I don't have all the processes. But I'm thinking that green, because I've got the green card stock and it had the numbers imprinted on it. And that's what you do. You file your operating circulars, your board of authorities, and all that. And you take it to the Federal Reserve Bank on your back of your Social Security card. You know what I mean? And you go to the original issue discount window and you say, hey, y'all, I want to open up a master account. No, I'm not a fiduciary or deposit institution. I'm a trust. And you want to use it as a transmitting utility. Now, mind you, I haven't done it all. Woo! Oh, I need to get some water after this. So, just a heads up, because I lost mine. And I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I'm figuring out other things on my own without even going in that realm, right? Oh. Excuse me. And, alright, so he's telling me about this stuff. Mike Fine leaves, and I was like, man, if I can get this program and get this program done, I'll be out in 6 months. Because I could get it done within the time frame, and then my time cuts would come through, and it would put me right at the exact day that I would get after the 40, because you got to wait 45 days after your time cut to go through to make sure everything's good and all that. And I was like, bang, that's what I did. So I put in all the requests, I made all the actions right and all the energy out. Boom, I got over to back to the other dorm where I was at. Got an alright roommate, and then he had to check in because, you know, he had some things going on with his case and things were happening. And I got this old school cat who been in for a long time. This motherfucker put 6 holes in somebody because they pulled a strap on his dad. So he jumped out of the car, bang, 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 bang. You know, he's a serious cat. Me and him got along great though. And I'm in my programs and stuff, and I'm talking to one cat from Fort Wayne. He was doing putting in all those red things in the sidewalk stuff at the time. He was telling me about all that. And I was like, yo, dude, have you ever heard about this Social Security account, all this stuff? And I'm explaining it to him. It's got $100 million, man. I guess if you're operating correctly, you know, you got immunity. You're above the law. I didn't know all this stuff at the time. And this cat, Yasin Bey, hit me, and he was like, yo. I know that wasn't Yasin. That was the other cat. What was his name? They used to call him baking soda, too. But, what is his name? It's been a long time. I was just thinking about him the other day. But I can't remember. But as a trade, he's like, yo, you got any information on that stuff? I said, nah, man, I've been trying to get it. He's like, well, I heard you were pretty good with the portraits, and I heard you was one of the best dudes when it came to the legal shit. So I'm going to put you on if you want to make a deal. Great. What you want? All right, I need 3 portraits. He said, you charge $250 per head, so I'm going to need 3 portraits. Do it. Because it's about $750 on the streets to get the paperwork done. I said, gravy, bro. Let's do it. Now, mind you, on the first one, I got discouraged. I was like not really putting it all in. I couldn't see it, so I didn't have any motivation to get it done. It looked like shit. I felt bad giving it to him. He said, nah, bro, this ain't going to cut it. I said, yeah, you're right. I probably shouldn't. I'm operating in dishonor. Let me go ahead and nail this shit. So then I went back. Next day, I came back with 3 bomb-ass portraits that looked just like the motherfucking pictures he gave me. And boom, he handed me my paperwork. It wasn't all the way filled out because he got stuck. He's like, I can't figure it out. And I'm like, damn, bro. So I did $750 worth of work. You only did half of your end. So now what's up? How do I get recourse on this? He's like, which it wasn't no mine because, you know, I got looked out for all the time. I got, you know, the ho-hos and the wham-whams. I got my coffee all the time, you know, because my people on the stream weren't really sending me money but like $20 every month. That ain't gonna cut it. So that's how I got onto it. As soon as I got that paperwork, got it, I was dissecting it. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, I'm out in the prison. All my homies, I'm like, yo. You know, I had a mastermind of like 5 people in each dorm. They were working on this shit, dissecting it, learning it. Then we'd be out in the yard, bouncing back and forth. So we were building a powerful network, which started like really getting the eyes of the administration and shit. Mind you, I don't really fuck with the guards or the administration. I'm there for my people, and obviously my people are the individuals in here, so how could I raise them up without being beat up? You know what I mean? How can I empower them to be the best that they can be? Like, I understand you've done some things, or maybe you haven't, you know? I ain't the judge. But I will treat you with respect and integrity, because that's what you deserve, because my principles, going back to E, the hip-hop preacher, because his principles dictated it, right? You think I'm going to give this up for some foolishness? You got me twisted. I understand that, like, that resonates with me. So, I got that paperwork. I was getting it ready to send it to my grandma. And then the week before I'm supposed to go home, I go get my tray to give it away in the morning. This guard, get in the back of the line. You know, he started like getting real aggressive with me. And I'm like, what? Man, it's cool, bro. You can have it. I'll see y'all later. Oh, you threatened me. You threatened me. Next thing I know, I'm getting tackled and maced and like elbows and shit on me. And I'm just laughing because I already know what they're trying to do. I already know their tactic. And I don't give it to them. You can't... If you don't give somebody the option to do something bad against you, they can't do it, right? Or it goes back to what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about Angel Jibreel. I don't want to do it injustice, but from my understanding of it, when Allah favors a man, he tells Angel Jibreel, say, hey, tell all of creation I favor so-and-so. And nothing bad will happen to him. But if Allah doesn't favor a man, then he'll get whatever he wants. I can't even talk about it. Maybe that's my program, but I don't want to mess it up. And I already did, so I'm going to quit. But, so yeah, they put me in SEG. I was supposed to get out that day. They held me a week longer, took all my property, didn't feed me for 3 days, laughed at me. You know, some crazy motherfucking shit. But I didn't... Yeah, I broke down. I was crying. I was bawling, man. I had everything set. I could feel it. And then when I did get out, I didn't sleep for 8 days. And I was Muslim at this time, so I was praying. I was getting it in. I was traveling in Detroit. I've been up in the Grand Rapids. I was on Jumu'ah. And then I started seeing things I didn't agree with. And then people were trying to, like, control the way I understood Islam. Like, I came to Islam on my own because I picked up a Quran that said Adam was the vicegerent. Adam was, you know... the authority on the planet, and when we would let the motherfucking reptilians or the draconians a long time ago take our authority and we bowed down to them because we were intimidated and we would had that idea, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't right. And this is a free will universe. Everything is free will. It's all contract. So maybe that's the biggest point about the whole sovereign SPC thing. Everything is contract law. And if you don't say it, if you don't claim it, then you ain't got it. That's a maxim of law. He who doesn't assert his rights has none. Or she, the being, because you're always being, you're always shifting, you're always developing, you're always moving until you're not, right? But then even when you're not in this realm, you're in that other realm. So, it's all about mindset. And understand, like, you got a big ass responsibility. Because the more you know better, do better. If you don't know, now you know. I mean, there's game recognizes game. There's all kinds of cliches we all grew up with our whole life that, like, if we actually dissected them, we could see serious situations in our own lives and our perspectives that they apply to. You just got to do the research, man. You got to take the time. You got to know certain things about yourself. And, you know, if you don't know how to get there, what you seek is seeking you. And this is another reason why I'm giving this video. Like, I've read This is Marketing by Seth Godin recently, and it was like, man, people out there want what you got to give, and you're doing a disservice to humanity if you ain't giving it. So that's another reason why I did this video. And I needed something to cheer me up. I've been doing the freight brokering, so I ain't ever brokered freight. I'm pretty good at selling. I like talking to people, but I'm not always there to like just make sure mine's good. I want a win-win-win situation because there's usually 3 parties involved in anything. So everybody's got to be winning or it ain't conducive. It blocks the chain. So we want to create positive relationships all the way around the board. I'm like, you know what? This is an industry that I could really apply my talents and my skills. I could build it, and I'm pretty sure that this will give me the financial means to be where I want to be, right? Because I got an idea in my head, and it's my dream, and I got to make it happen because it's my duty and it's my responsibility. It's not nobody else's. That goes back to that ownership thing. So I got into it. Like literally, I hustled up a detail. She paid with the swipe. Everything worked out perfect because I was like, man, what do I got to do? All right, I got to give away something. Let me go ahead and do something for somebody else instead of me just saying, give me, give me, give me. So I did a detail for my homie. His truck was bad. Meanwhile, this other lady rolled over. She had some puke in her back seat, and I took about 30 minutes. Got it out, boom, she swiped the card. I did the other one for free, right? And I'm broke. I ain't been working. I'm a union guy, but I ain't been working for, last time they worked me up here was December. And I'm the type of person that calls, but out of this hall, you gotta like get called out by the school and all that. I don't do that. So I'm not even in that. I'm still in the union in Indiana and I pay my dues and boom. But, so I wanted to, get into this, get involved, and actually provide the services that I'm good at. Just got done with Tay Lopez's social media marketing course, so I'm using all that. I can apply that, but I just really wanted to get it for the knowledge, like the aspect of the marketing, because I feel like it's my duty, knowing like how the brain works and how people relate and all that. I gotta use that marketing stuff that I learned and positively put that out into the world instead of manipulation and getting people just to buy it just because it's like right now, all that. Like I don't like doing that. And I'm not a used car salesman. So like all the people that think brokers are used car salesmen, nah, man. I'm here to help you, help me, help our shippers, right? Because shippers really ain't got the time to be calling out thousands of trucks. Because what's trucking do? It moves one thing to all the way across the country, and if that truck ain't got nothing to carry back to get paid for, that's a waste of time. It's a waste of gas. There ain't no money coming in. That's stressful. So you got to have this network and the pool. You got to build it. So it's all about building and networking. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so she swiped the card. I had 35 bones on there. The program, did all my research. The one that I've been interested in is Dennis Brown's, but it's $99, and I just haven't put into it. And then I found this one on Udemy. I like using Udemy. I like their platform. And I did all of my research on his reviews, looked up his company. Everything was cool, so I bought it. $10.99. This is Thursday. Was it Thursday? No, it's Friday. Yeah, Friday morning, I bought it. Started doing it. Saturday evening, I had it done. Sunday, I had a shipper database of 227 people. No, 257. Monday, I was sitting there and I was like, man, our bills are coming. Everything's due. I'm about to get a job. I said, fuck that shit, bro. You better pick up that phone. You better start doing emails. And mind you, I'm reading 10X too. So I'm like, all right. Get the call. Call this one cat. His name's Angel Reyes. Hey, yo, bro. So, hey, how you doing? I seen that you guys had a posting on Craigslist for a freight broker. He's like, yeah, do you have any experience? Well, I wanted to talk to you about that. I've done a program. I'm not saying I'm an expert and I know everything, but I want to come in here. This is the only place that I can see myself meeting my financial goals and providing the service that I need to provide. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for an opportunity to come in there and shine like a rock star. And that was April 10th, or no, it was April 8th, Monday. I signed all my paperwork legally April 11th. But April 10th, or April 9th, I went in there at 11:30, did the interview, bang. Came in Wednesday, April 10th at 9 a.m. Started making my phone calls. Thursday, I signed all my paperwork. Friday, I got set up with one of my big customers, and they send me 80-some loads every day. And a lot of them have been up there for a while because people ain't trying to like really push them. So I got the resource. I built it. I can see myself there. And then last week I got stuck. And I'm like, what is it? What is it? Well, I didn't have the whole process down. Now I do. I actually ran a load for something that was coming back to our shop on Friday. And I'm like, there it is. Now I know how to do all of that because I've been trying to figure it out on my own. And now that I actually ran through the process and was guided, boom, I see it. Now I know. Hey, now I'm confident in selling the service that I'm providing, right? I know everything about it because I was just not really winging it. I had some knowledge and I had some things, but there's certain aspects that you definitely got to like get hands-on experience, and that's what I did it for. And good thing about my client is because it's usually like 30 days, so you got to wait 30 or 35 days to get your commission and shit. Like I just said, all my shit's like, just wait. I got to get it paid, right? It's got to get paid, like now. And it's not like I've been sitting on my ass not taking any action. I've been working towards something because I see myself getting way bigger than just working a regular 9 to 5. Or, you know, that whole thing, like I can't just do a job just because I can't just take it because I'm stressing, right? I'm operating out of fear. And if I bow down, then I'm not really using my will, right? That's what it's all about. So, and I want to express this to you guys so that it like gives you a little motivation and you can actually like see. And this is what being a sovereign or secured party creditor is all about. It's not about the paperwork, really. It's not about all the steps and the process. It's about how you think. It's about how you operate, right? So, yeah, I got my big account, ran through all that. So now Monday I'm going to go in there and I'm going to fucking wang them out. Because I need to get those loads from where they are to where they need to go. Like, I got to do that. It's my duty. And I feel like I owe an obligation to the individual that let me into that company, because I've noticed a lot of those loads, they've been sitting there for a little while. So there's not a whole lot of people working that area. Whereas other loads all over the country where, you know, and my rates ain't bad. I'm paying coming out of Florida or staying in Georgia $2 to $4 a mile. $2.44 to $4.13 a mile on my loads. And they're going like 130 miles. And I actually got it set up now mentally, and I got a map of it to where one individual can pick up a load right here. They can drive an hour and a half, drop it off. So that eats up about 4.5 hours. And then they can go straight over to the other place, or there's a load there, right? Go over to the other place, I think it's called Try-On, and then they go, boom, drop it off. Or maybe they have to wait their 10 hours. And like I still haven't figured out all that. It's so weird to even think about it, but I'm learning it. And then they'll have a load, once they drop that load off, they'll have a load ready that's only like 7 to 15 miles away. Or like I think the longest one was 37 miles away, which is underneath the 100 deadhead mile, right? And then boom, boom, and my rates are fair. So I'm trying to, if you're in Georgia and you're watching this, or you know truck drivers with flatbeds, I need 48 or 53 that can carry 48,000 pounds, you know, connect with me. But I think I gotta cut this off because I could go on for days. But that's just my story, and that's the mindset. And I'll put out another video. I'll make it a consistent effort to consistently provide you guys with valuable information from not just reading it in books. All this stuff I've done, and I'll get into some of the interactions I've had with police officers, weird coincidences, you know, the signs and symbols for conscious minds, or we call them ayats. But yeah, much love. Hope you all have a great weekend.